Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Adeke Mary, and today we're going to look at database programming. We're going to look at how they use these commands. We have the database definition language commands, we have the database manipulation language commands, and we also have the database query language commands. So today we're going to look at how they use this in a command line. So it's going to be more of a practical session. Yeah, so we're going to follow along. If you would like, you would follow along. Yeah, so we're going to first begin by creating a database, and in this case my project is all about the library. So you're going to look at the different entities, and as we create these tables you're looking at the entities that are in a library. So my database is going to be called library. So we can code together. But this is the syntax of creating a database. There are three different ways. Create database. Oh sorry, the spelling is wrong. Create database library. Yeah, and then it is formed. Then to use this library we have to use another prompt that says use library. So you have to make sure that the spellings are the same. Yeah, so we're going to create a table called authors. We may also create a table called books. So anything that is in a library, any entity that is in a library can qualify to create a table. Yeah, so we're going to create a table called authors. So by creating a table there is a syntax that we follow. We say create table name. So if I want to create authors, I'm going to say create table authors. Create table authors. Authors, hope that's a spelling. And then we're going to put the things that are supposed to be inside. For instance, the columns that will be in this table. So for instance we have our ID, which are going to give it an integer data type. It's going to be the primary key, and it shouldn't be left empty, therefore we say not now. And then we're going to put it to auto increment. Auto increment means that it's going to continue. I will not manually need to fill in the IDs 1, 2, 3. No, it will auto increment itself. So that is for the column of ID. I'll also have a column for name, for the name, and that one I'll give it a varchar, which can be called a variable character, and the length I can give it is 100. I can still set it to not now so that it is not left empty. Yeah, so comma. What else? I can give it gender, the author. We want to find out the gender of the author. I will give it a variable character, maybe 6. Yeah, and I also give them age. For instance, I want to find out what age they are. Yeah, so age, it's an integer type. I can give them like 2. Yeah, and then we can close. Is it? We can close and terminate. Yeah, and that shows that the table has been created. So we are now we can show columns. Before that, I think we are going to first learn how they create a foreign key. Yeah, so we're going to create another table called since this is authors, you're going to create another table called books. Then you can find out how they create foreign keys. So we're going to say create table books. I think this should be small, and then the entities that will be there, I'll put an ID still for it. I prefer ID in small, and integer data type. It's going to be the primary key of this table, and still it shouldn't be left empty, and still I'll let it auto increment itself. So that is the column for the integer. I'm also going to have a column for the title. For instance, the title of the books. I'll have the title, and I'll give it a variable character of 255. still I wouldn't want anyone to leave this empty, so put it not now. And then I'll also have an author ID, and I'll give it an integer type. That one, naming conventions, can put an underscore, give it an integer data type, and then a foreign key, so I'll put a comma, I'll say foreign key, caps lock, foreign key, what I want to name it as, I want to name it as author ID, and then I'll close, and then I'll say references, the table, this table, which is authors. So you have to really be vigilant on the way you're writing your naming conventions, so that you don't mistake, because any slight mistake, the table, if I've written authors with an S and then I write the authors again without an S, that means that there are two different tables. So I'm saying here I used an S, yeah. So references, authors, then I'll put the ID. Then I think I opened twice. Yeah, so that one has also been created, so we can show the columns. Show columns. So these are the columns from the books. As you can see, there was a primary key, we auto incremented it. So this just tells us of the fields that we've actually created in the previous table. Yeah, so after learning that, we're going to learn about the alter commands. Well, we're still learning about the database definition language commands, or the DDL language commands, and it has the alter commands. As we're going to look at them as we continue. Yeah, so in the alter command, so I'm basically going to give examples of this, depending on this table that we are using. So we're going to add the email, we're going to add an email and the address to these tables above. So you're going to see how I'm going to use these commands. So we're going to have alter table books. We're going to add, so what are we adding? I want to add address. Add address. I'm going to give it a data type, a varchar, and then I'll give it let me say 45 as a size, and you can see it has been affected. That row has been affected. Then I'm also going to add another table, so we're going to say alter table, alter table authors, and we're going to say add email. I'm going to give it a data type, which is a varchar, and I'm going to give it, for instance, 45. Yeah, so it has also been affected. So that's how the alter tables, if you want to add other columns in the table. So you can follow the syntax, alter table, then you say table name, add the column that you want to add and its data type plus the size. That's the syntax for adding a column into a table. So we're going to change now the column name called address, this one that we've just created, to publisher. Yeah, so we're going to say before I give you the syntax, I think let's first deal with the example. So it is alter table books. The table is called books. Be mindful, alter table books, change. What are we changing? The address that we've just added. Maybe if you realize that the address is actually not supposed to be a column, yeah, you can decide to change it into a realistic column. So the one that you're changing is called address, but then to a new name or a new column name that will be, let me say I want to name it publisher. Well, publisher sounds valid because these books are supposed to be published by publishers. For instance, we have the Fountain Publishers and others. Publisher, I've given it a variable character, and the size I can give it like 25. Yeah, maybe the publisher should not exceed, and that one has been affected. So we're going to now try to see how we can change the data type and the size of the author, that table. We're going to see how we can change. So we're going to say alter table. We're going to alter which table? Authors. That's correct. Authors. Modify gender. So we want to modify the gender. Modify gender. I have to give it a data type, and then the new size, and it has also been affected. So before we look at these tables are actually empty. I wanted us to see how they are, but they're actually empty. They don't have, we've not yet learned about the insert, so there is nothing in these tables. We're just changing them. Yeah. Maybe what we can look at right now, we can see how we're going to try to drop a column. For instance, I think we should drop a column, this column that we've just added, publisher. Let's try to see how we can drop it. So you're going to follow an example. Alter table books. Still all the things are using the alter command. Alter is actually some basic language command. It's a data definition language command. Alter table books, and then drop column. Publisher. We want to drop the publisher table. Maybe you've seen that there's a table that's not supposed to be there, or it's not necessary. That's how we drop it. Yeah, so we're going to see how we can also try to rename a table. So renaming a table is the syntax is alter table name, rename to a new name. So for instance, I've realized that this naming conversion for author is actually not supposed to be plural. So I realized I had written authors and not author. So I want to change that from authors to author. So I'm going to still use this database definition language command alter, and I'll set alter table authors. This is the old name, authors, and be mindful not to say to, because it's not a command that we use. So it is alter table authors, rename, since we want to rename to the new name that we want, which is author, and that one has been affected as well. So we're going to use the alter command to add constraints. For example, making an email unique. email being unique is you're maybe trying to add a constraint. So we're going to look at how to add constraints and how to drop constraints. Well, we don't drop constraints, but we drop the indexes. Yeah, so we're going to see how we can add how we can alter this table author, and then we add a constraint. So I can say alter table author, and then you're going to say add constraint that this email should be unique. Well, there are various all platforms that I've seen so far, their emails are unique. And in case, for instance, Google, if you want to create an email or an account, and the email address that you're using is actually similar to the one stored into their databases, there is no way you can use the same database, the same email address, and therefore they will tell you to use another email address. Sometimes they can even give you the suggestions. That means that there is no database that has similar email addresses. That is for Google. I was giving an example. Yeah, so we're going to add a constraint that these emails actually should be unique. So should be unique. So I'll say unique email. This is the name I actually want to give it. Unique email, and then I'll give it the constraint. This is the constraint. This one should resemble the column name. There is an error. You have an error. Check the menu that corresponds near you. Unique. So I realize that there is I didn't add the I. This should work. Yeah, so it has worked. That's how we add a constraint. So we're going to see how we can use the alter command to drop that index. So we're going to say alter table author, you have to keep in mind the name that you renamed in case you keep on renaming. Yeah, so alter table author, and then you're going to drop index. Drop index unique email. So the name that you had given here up, this one here. You can copy and paste it just in case. Yeah, so we have dropped that index. So for truncating, what I know about truncating is that it resets the auto increment column. In case you truncate and maybe you truncated the first row and it's not there, after truncating, the next line will have the ID of the one that you've truncated above it. So if I truncate row 1, after truncating, I'll still have a 1 as an ID. I hope I'm clear. Yeah, so it resets the auto increment column, and the syntax is truncate table name. So you can truncate a table. So you can say truncate books, truncate authors. Yeah, so we're going to see what the drop command does. This one deletes an existing database or an object within a database. So the syntax could be drop table name. So you can realize that most of these things, as long as you know the syntaxes, you can actually do the commands. Well, for me, I still want my tables because we're still continuing. This was just the database, the data definition language commands, and so we're going to switch and now look at the database manipulation language commands. Yeah, so we're going to begin with in the database manipulation. Now here we are manipulating. Though you hear the word manipulating, that means you can insert, we can update, we can delete things that have already been inserted into the database. Well, for database definition language commands, these ones we are actually defining the structure of the database or our schema. How is it going to be? Yeah, I really hope we are at the same level right now. So we're going to switch and then we look at the database manipulation language command. So we're going to say, let me see if I'm recording. Yeah, I am. So we're going to insert some data into the database. We can either insert a single or multiple records. So this is the syntax. You can say insert into, you say insert into the table that you want, which is author. I want to insert things dealing with name, gender, and also age. Well, I want age to be after the name. I want to know your age before I know your gender. Yeah, so that is going to be, these are going to be like the titles that are up, and then you're going to insert what they call values. Values, I have I could get maybe someone called Ezra. Be mindful of putting them, since it's a variable character, be mindful of putting them in quotes. Ezra, they are how old? They are 12 years old and they could be male. Well, nowadays you can't differentiate names of people. Yeah, so this is how we actually fill in. If you want to create only a single entry, I mean, if you're inserting a single entry, but then we could also insert very many entries, and there is an error. Name and the age, and then the gender. Data too long for column gender at row 1. Gender. That means you made some mistake. Data is too long, so let me see what we can try to do. Give it a bit of name. So it has been affected. Maybe the size is too, we had created, I think, space for unlimited, yeah, something like that. We had created, I think, limited space, so we're going to use the initials M for male and female F. Yeah, so we're going to use, so now I'm going, that was, I was showing you how they insert a single row. Now I'm going to show you how they insert multiple rows or multiple records. So I'm going to change, maybe I could name this one, I could name them Mary. And then I could give them their age, which could be 20. Well, I'm Mary, so I'm above 20 years. And they're definitely female, so I'm going to give them an F. And then from there we don't terminate, we continue, put a comma, then we say get another name, maybe Dawn. Dawn, yeah, comma, and then we give them their age. They could be any age, and then we give them, maybe perhaps they are male. And then we terminate. So these have been inserted. So to see these, I think we say select all from the table called author. and then you can see those are the IDs and names and the genders and their emails. I've not given them emails yet. So we're going to look at the updates. That was just basically inserting. So now we're going to go to update, so we can update with or without a condition. And here what helps us to give a condition is when you put the where clause, where ID is equal to 1. Or if you don't put the where clause, that means that the update that you're actually doing is for all. So we're going to look at that. So we're going to first look at the update with so you say update author, and then use the word keyword set. We're going to set their name to Lisbeth, where, so I'm bringing in the where clause, where ID is equal to 1. That means that I'm changing where ID is anywhere where there is an ID equal to 1, I'm changing the name to Lisbeth, and that one has been affected. So when I select all from author, you can see that there's been a change name from Ezra to Lisbeth. So that's with a condition. So we're going to look at without a condition. We can say update, and then we set gender to male. Let me see. We upgrade that we're using. This is gender. That's nice. So since there is no where clause, this shouldn't be there. So when we say select all from author, you can realize that all of them have been changed because we didn't give a specific direction of where we are supposed to go. So all the genders have been set to male. Yeah, so we're going to see how we can update multiple. So we've seen how to update a single row, how we can update using the with, the without, and now we're going to see how we can update using multiple columns, how we can update multiple columns. So we can say update author, update author, and then you set let me say a name to Steve. It's a variable character, so Steve. I can give them age. What age should I give them? 50? Yeah. So how about their gender? Perhaps they are female. Yeah. So I can be like where ID is equal to 1, and then you terminate. Don't forget to terminate. And there is an error where ID is 1 at line 1. What's the error? You have an error. Check the manual that corresponds near age. So let me try to see. Set name is equal to Steve, age is equal to 50, where update author, set name is equal to Steve's age. I think this should be correct. There is still an error. We have an error. Word syntax. Oh, there is a comma missing somewhere, I think. Yeah. Yeah, so it has been affected. So you can realize how just one small mistake can literally change everything. So there's a comma that was missing between the attribute of name and age. Yeah, so be mindful. So we're going to see how we can use the conditional update with a case statement. So we're going to see an example of how that one works. So we're going to say update. We're still looking at update author. Author is small. Update author. Then you say set. Oh, sorry, set. Battery is warning. Set name. Sorry. Set name. Name was small. Set name is equal to case. Case is capital. When name is equal to Steve. When name is equal to Steve, realize, well, my PC is almost running. It's misbehaving. So when name is equal to Steve, then what should that be? Then it could be maybe perhaps as meaning Steven. Yeah. And when name or a column name, this is which refers to the column name, is equal to maybe I had a Don somewhere. Don. What would that mean? Then maybe I was meaning that they should be called Donald. Donald. Perhaps that as meaning. Or else name and so that has been affected. So let's see what select, that's a wrong spelling, select all. Some don't write the all in words. Select all from author. Yeah. And then if we are to see where there was Stephen, where there was Steve, there is now a Stephen, a Mary, and where there is a Dawn, there is now a Donald. Remember Elizabeth, we changed Elizabeth because we included another column. We updated where there's column ID 1. That's why you're not seeing Elizabeth anymore. So we updated to Steve. Yeah, we updated to Steve as in this line. We updated to Steve and put their age as 50 and say that they are female. Well, yeah. And now when we've done the case statement, that where there is actually supposed to be Steve, there should be Stephen, and where there is Don, there could be Donald. That implies that if at all maybe you want to change everything, maybe you've been writing human resource as HR, and this time around you want to see HR, you want to see human resource and not HR rather. So this helps you to change everything in the database without leaving out other well, that was a disadvantage in the file management systems. So we also have the delete command, and we use it to remove records from a table. For instance, we can say delete from author where ID is equal to 1. That one deletes everything. And what I know about the delete command, it does not auto increment. Yeah, so we're going to look at now the data query language command, and these ones are used to perform just queries on the data within the database. Yeah, so it includes the select statement, but we've been using it, so we're done seeing the select statement. Yeah, so we're going to see the and operator. This one allows existence of multiple conditions. The battery. So it allows the existence of multiple conditions in an SQL statement where clause. So if it is true, then the condition is separated by the AND. So and if both statements are true, for instance, you have an example that select from author where ID is equal to 1 and age is equal to 50. So if that is true, that there is an ID that is 1 and there is a person whose ID is 1 and they have their age as 50, that means it qualifies to be true. That means it's going to show. And the difference it is from the OR operator is that when it is an OR operator and you have one of the statements true, it will appear to be true. So if I have one person, let me say maybe their gender is male and their email is null, you can see that here we have Mary and Donald whose email is actually null, but they are also male. So in case any of them had, let me say there was one who is a male but then they have an email, that means that it would be true. So that means that if I say select all from author where their gender is male and their email is not null, it will still appear. I don't know if you can get that. Yeah, so I think let's end here for today. In my next episode, we're going to see these in details. We're going to see the AND operator, the limit clauses, and a lot more. Yeah, thank you.